The Morning Gardener Show.
Hello, this is the Morning Gardener. Excuse me, I'm off today. And this is the cup that I used to do my soil testing in, where I would take, soil from different parts of the yard and put them in one area. But this is soil that has never been amended. And this is exactly like it was the very first day I moved to this house. And so I let it dry in this plastic cup. And this is what I was trying to grow in. Now, some of you don't have soil that is this bad, of course, but this is 100%, in my opinion, clay. It's when it dries, it's hard. I mean, I had no idea. That's what this soil is. It's hard. Now, it's not. It feels like a rock in my hands. I'm just giving you a description of what it feels like. It feels like a rock, and if you look at this soil, it has no no holes in it for roots, and I doubt if I don't know how weed roots get through this, but this is the hardest. Man, I mean, you learn a lot. Now, this is the side of the cup that molded to it, but you can see what's going on here. Let me see, can I get a little closer? Okay, this is some of you. Let's just try to learn here for a second. Some of you are growing in this, and you wonder why your plants look weak. They fizzle out. Is because they're trying to go through this in the yard, and you till it. Yeah, I mean, I used to till this back before I got it the soil way it is now. I used to till this, and it was fluffy and soft, but after a few rains, it would turn back into this. And I remember seeing the puddles that would sit on top of it. I mean, and look at it looks the texture of it. It's just so tiny. And then when water hits it, they all pack together, and water can't go through this. I mean, it has no nutrients in it. It has no organic matter in it, and certain types of worms love this stuff because, like you got the Alabama jumper worms. He loves burrowing through clay soil like this, but he can only get through this when it's been moistened by rain, I would imagine. But this here, folks, I'm telling you, I used to try to grow in this, and originally when I first got the garden set up, some things grew, like cucumbers and tomatoes grew, but I always got very little and for my effort, and I was throwing in lots of money into the ground, and I was putting in what they call it, lime and fertilizer. I was doing everything I could, but something was wrong. And then years later, I learned that there are quite a few gardeners that are dealing with poor soil, very poor soil. They don't realize it, or they don't want to realize it, but this is what happens when soil, when they take down the forest, and the leaves that used to fall there for thousands of years, that used to replenish this soil with organic matter, the grasslands that used to grow throughout thousands of miles, that used to cover the ground and kept it covered. And when you move in, you have a few weeds and a couple trees here or there, and this soil grows every year, weeds, and it does its best to recycle itself, but it's not covered. It's not fed a diet of organic matter the way it once was, and it turns into this. So this is actually, if you want to get down to it, this is man-made soil. This is what man calls, wherever man tends to live or visits, he leaves soil like this because he strips everything out of everything, and this is the results. So if you have soil, this we're going to talk about what you can do about this. Folks, I'm going to tell you right now, load your soil up with organic matter. That's the first step to dealing with clay. Excuse me. Put your hands in the soil. Feel what the soil feels like. Now, imagine this here. This here is supposed to be light, fluffy, well drained, and you could send off a test and get your soil tested. That's one step. Or you could just reach your hands in and feel it, and take the soil and ball it up real hard and release it, and then poke it and see if it crumbles apart. See if you gently massage in your hand and it crumbles apart. And when you look at the soil, you see these little clogs, which is showing you the glues that are in the soil. It looks like cottage cheese, if you will, that are in the soil. That will tell you that your soil has the right ingredients in it. So add organic matter to the soil. That is one of the keys to it, to add as much as you can pump into that soil of organic matter. And you will be building, amending, and repurposing this hard rock into soil. This is what's left after man lives in an area. They strip off everything, they take off the topsoil, they lay down these mats of grass, and eventually the grass starts to show signs of fatigue because the soil doesn't have what it needs, because soil is a cycle. It has to get organic matter replenished to it, and that's how nature originally designed it. But when you don't have that, it turns into this. So I always wondered why some soil was better than others, because some people keep pumping in organic matter. There's no mystery or secret around it. It's just, this is, I mean, I'm telling you, it feels like I'm holding a rock. Yeah, it's like I'm holding a rock. But that's what happens when man visits certain areas. All right, this is the morning gardener, and I gotta tell you, I can't believe I used to try to grow in this, and the roots would not penetrate this very well. Now with the wood chips added, I am absolutely growing what I need, because the wood chips, the worms go in, they eat up the wood chips, they excrete their waste, organic matter, all of the animals that live in the soil. Some people call them, I can't think of the name of them right now, but the organisms that live in the soil, they eat and excrete their waste, and they create a glue that holds things together, and the worms and other animals tunnel through the soils, and they create all these little openings. Not this here. They didn't create this stuff. This would be soil that you would see very few, if any, worms in the location of soil like this. This here is soil that has been beaten up by rain. It's been sitting open and hasn't been covered. This is what this has been done to this, and there's no organic matter in this soil to the degree that would allow you to grow healthy plants. So that being said, add organic matter to your soil, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of it. Find sources that you can get it free. If you can, I get all mine free. I get leaves at the end of the year. I get as many as I can take, and I mean as many as I can take. I get the leaves because I have access to leaves, and I have access sometimes to wood chips. So this is what you want to do. Load it up. Lay the wood chips on top, 6 to 8 inches. Let the worms do the work. Do the same thing with the tree leaves. Lay them on top over the fall. Let the worms and the microorganisms pull it down into the soil over a period of, I'm telling you, if you got soil like this, you're talking about 3 to 4 years. But let that happen. And when that takes place, your soil will get better and better each year. So that being said, let's get on our grind and grow some food. This is the Morning Gardener. Thank you. I just finished filming. I should have showed them this. This fork is stuck in this soil. Man, I tell you, I tried to grow in this.